and welcome to the Houston Element Podcast. My name is Missy, and I'm your host. And today, I have the lovely pleasure to sit down with local recording and performing artist, Big Tweak.
Nice to be here.
Pleasure to have you, man. How's it going, man?
It's good. Everything's good. I can't complain. How are you?
You know, living the dream, man. You know, never a dull moment in production, studio or live.
Right.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Cleveland, actually. I started making music probably around 13, 14. I didn't really start taking it serious, like 100% serious until about 2 years ago. And I just really use it as a form of expressing myself. And it's kind of like a form of therapy for me too. So that's why I enjoy doing it more than anything.
Wonderful, wonderful, man. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in your music journey? What first inspired you?
So it's actually a funny story. We was walking home from school one day, and, we used to get these laptops in school. People used to record on them and stuff. So my friends were rapping as we were walking home, and they told me to try it. And I'm like, no, I don't do all that. But so long story short, I tried it, and they were hyping it up, gaslighting it, but it wasn't that. But in my mind at that age, I'm like, oh, everybody messing with me. So I went home and just started recording little stuff on my laptop, and yeah, that's where the passion grew from. And I always liked music, but I never thought about doing it.
Excellent, excellent, man. So what is the inspiration behind your artist name, your lyrics, and your music style?
So behind the name, I actually had this older guy, that, used to keep me out of trouble, keep stuff right for me, made sure I was okay. He used to call me a little hothead. He said I used to be tweaking, so he started calling me Tweak. So it's actually a nickname. So I just took that and ran with it. And the big in my name, the B-I-G, is actually an acronym that stands for Believe in God. So
I like that.
yeah, so it's my nickname and then the acronym. Yeah. But behind the lyrics, it's just me being myself more than anything, not trying to pertain to a certain style or a sound that people may want to hear. I'm using it really as a form of expressing myself. So that's really, yeah.
Okay, all right. I can feel that, man. Yeah, because I noticed that you have it spelled capital, all caps, B-I-G, Tweak. So I wasn't sure if that was an acronym or not, but I like that. I like that a lot. Yes, yes. All right. I'll mess with it. So what helps you get in the creative mode? What is your workflow like when it comes to writing, recording?
Okay, so writing, I definitely have to be alone. I like being alone. I don't have to be, but I am at my best when I'm alone because I can think about everything. I don't have any distractions or anyone saying, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Like, I like to just put my touch on it. Of course, I'll take opinions once the product is done, but when I'm in that creative mode, I want to create how I envisioned it. So definitely being alone. Writing, it can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to 2 weeks for me to do a song. Like, it just depends on the song. So it changes. It changes a lot depending on the song. But as far as the studio, when I go in the studio, I don't like having my phone at all. Like, because it's a distraction. And when I'm making music, I don't like to feel like I'm talking off of something. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb on vibrate and throw it in my book bag. And that's how I start my session.
Excellent. Are you a paper guy or are you I like to rehearse and make sure I got it locked in?
Every time I go in the studio or every time I do a song, it's all in my head. Like, I never look at a paper or a phone. I can't do it like that. I have to memorize it.
And I'm sure your engineer appreciates not having to remove the out of the mix every 5 minutes.
So it's funny you say that. When I first started working with the engineer that I'm working with now, he was like, "Are you seriously not looking at your phone or a paper?" I'm like, "No, it messes me up." And he was like, "I've never seen anyone do that before."
Wow.
So yeah, it's just my whole process of doing that.
They're probably concerned. They're like, did you come prepared? Like, do you know your stuff? Are you just freestyling? Is it going to be one of those sessions?
That's what most people think it is. It's just me going in there freestyling every time. So
until the floor literally becomes lava. And then they're like, what is this fire? Oh, it's Big Tweak. He's in the studio. Okay, that's all right. I thought it was a problem. I love it. I love it, man. So your latest album is called Soul Ties. Excuse me. I can't talk. So can you please tell us more about the album and what was the inspiration?
So how I came up with the whole idea of it is because I feel like in hip hop, my soul is tied to music. When I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking of raps in my head. Throughout the day, I might see something I'm thinking. So I really feel like I have this strong soul tied to music. So that's what inspired the name of the whole album. And as far as the music on there, it's just basically me explaining what I have to go through or what do I see in this music industry. So that's basically the whole idea of Soul Ties.
Okay. And so what was the writing process like that for you? Did it take a while to come up with all the tracks for the album or, the idea of how you want it arranged?
No. I think I started working on Soul Ties came out in April 8th.
Mm-hmm.
I probably started working on it in March. It was the first time I ever sat down and was like, okay, this is what it's going to be. This is how many songs it's going to be. This is what type of songs are going to be on there. So it really did. Once I find the beats and the instrumentals or I get them, my beat selection process is really quick. Like I listen to it real quick. If I don't feel like I'm going to make a good song, I'll either save it if it's a good beat or I'll just get rid of it. So, no, it didn't take me long at all, though.
Okay. Very instinct based.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I liked it because it was, it was natural. So.
I respect that. Yeah, man. So now we're living in this wasn't on there, but I mean, we're living in the digital and analog age. So is there any kind of things in particular, like elements you like your music to have, auto-tune or delay effects, things that you like it to have to give it that extra pizzazz?
For one, I hate auto-tune. I really hate it with a passion. Like one time I was in the studio and he's like, the producer or the engineer was like, oh, try auto-tune when you do that. And I'm like, I don't do that. He like, oh, just try it. And we get to trying it. As soon as he played it back, I'm like, cut this off. Like, let's just go back to what we were doing. Because now you wasting my money at this point. Yeah. I don't like auto-tune. But no, not really. Just give me a mic, a good beat, and let me go. There's nothing that I absolutely have to have. I do like drinking wine in the studio, though. It gives me that bubbly feeling, and it just lets me go.
That wine makes you fine. All right, there's a thin line, and you don't want to cross it. Making my music. I feel that, man. So you kind of got more of an analog kind of sound to you. You really want to make sure your vocals are coming out clear kind of thing, And as far as your beat selection, you said you know if you like it or not. Mm-hmm. So you more like a traditional instrument kind of thing, or you like something kind of a little more experimental?
So it varies because I really pride myself on my versatility. I don't like feeling like I'm making the same song twice. Or I don't want people to hear my music and be like, oh, I know exactly what you're about to talk about. So the beat can go from like a 90s hip hop beat to a trap beat that you may hear. Even though I'm not going to trap rap, I just like this beat and I feel like I can do something very creative on it. So if I like the beat, I like it.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, man. Because I mean, it's like there's so much broadness in music, but you can tell when somebody likes analog style or digital style kind of thing, especially when you hear that vocals coming in all nice and clear and
Yeah.
velvety. Oh yes. Oh yes. I can dig it, man. And so, working with the engineer when you were recording this album, like, what was the process like? Was there like, did you already have your relationship kind of set? Like, you didn't have to let them know, hey, do this for me. They already had it implemented in the mix, kind of thing. What was your workflow like when it came to that part?
So the engineer that I worked with on Soul Ties is the same from Make 'Em Remember. So we already had that relationship. We already knew. Once I got there, he had the first song off of the album already pulled up. We just went in there and knocked it out. Like me and him flow real quick.
Okay,
So
excellent.
I like our workflow. It's really just business. We may laugh a little bit, but it's really just strictly business when me and him get in there together.
Excellent. And now that he knows that you don't need to read your paper notes or your phone, he feels more at ease.
Yeah, he really appreciates that because like it cuts down the time a lot.
I respect that, man, because some people think, oh, well, you're a rapper, a vocalist. You don't have to have an extenuous rehearsal because you're just one person. Mm-hmm. Wrong.
Right.
Wrong.
I tell people all the time, don't rap if you don't practice. Don't, because you're going to sound, you may get a one-hit wonder if you get lucky, but it's going to come crashing down. It's kind of like a sport.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what kind of tricks do you do for when it comes for rehearsing your songs, like or anything you do just to keep your voice and your vocal cords healthy?
So I have this thing where I will get my phone and pull out the recorder, and I would just record me rapping the song over and over and over. And if I mess up, I'll stop right there and start all the way over. So I would say, honestly, by the time I'm done writing a song, I pretty much know the whole thing. Because I done been through it so many times where I could just recite it right then and there. So that's what I kind of like about my writing process, is because it's kind of like rehearsal too while I'm writing.
Okay. Yeah, because your voice is the instrument, and you're essentially just, instead of picking like this, you're just training this. Yeah. Okay. Take notes. Right. Take notes, y'all. Okay, if you haven't already. And so let's talk about your first album. You said Make 'Em Remember. So can you tell us a little bit more about this album?
Yeah, so I can't remember the exact year. I want to say around 2015, 16. I hadn't released no music in a while, so I went back to all my old songs and were listening to them, going through them. I deleted everything off of it. I didn't like none of it. I was like, I feel like I need a fresh start. I need to become a better version of myself so I could put out better music. So I took the time off to kind of regroup myself, find the specific sound I was looking for, making sure I can, like I said, discovering stuff like my writing process now and how I could rehearse and be better when I go in the studio. So when I came back to it, and I was like, okay, now I want to drop a project. I'm just going to give them a quick EP and we're going to see what it do. And I was thinking of a name of it. It was actually supposed to be called February Snow. I don't remember why, but I was like, no, that ain't it. So I came up with Make 'Em Remember because it's exactly that. Like, trying to make people remember that I can really rap. Like, I feel like I can go with the best of them. So that's what inspired the name of Make 'Em Remember.
I like that, man. So what would you say, if any, was the differences from the recording time of that first album to the second album?
Comfortability. On the first one, I wasn't really that sure of myself. I didn't really know how people were going to perceive it. I didn't know if it was going to be good enough. The second album, I didn't care. I was, people are always going to perceive music different. Like, you can't force anyone to like your music. It's either they do or they don't. And out of how many people in this world, 7 billion, whatever the number may be, there's going to be people that like your music. So I stopped worrying about satisfying people, worrying about how people perceive it. And like, I just became more me. And that is what I'm very big on in my music, just be me. So that's probably the biggest difference between those two.
And what kind of things, if any, did you learn or did you hone on for your skill set from recording the first album to the second album?
Hmm. Um, I think my voice just naturally got better. I guess because I was doing it more. Just knowing how to sound on certain songs because you can't rap the same on every song. Like sometimes you gotta slow it down. You might have to say this word a little lighter than this word. You might have to put more emphasis on this. So just articulating myself better. That's probably the biggest. Yeah.
That's one of the things I really respect the most about rappers and hip hop artists is your ability to come up with different vernacular styles. You know, y'all call it spitting or whatever kind of thing. You know, depending, you know, kind of thing. You know, but it's like, you know, everybody knows Coolio because he has that specific fast, you know, and DJ Scat. Something like that. It was DJ Scat or something like that. Whatever. But from the 90s. I might not remember because y'all weren't born yet. But anyway. But, you know, I like that because, you know, from the outside looking in, it's almost like, you know, you're painting your canvas however you want it kind of thing. And it's like you can paint a bunch of flowers, but they're not all going to be the same.
No. Exactly.
So for you, what is the kind of things that helped you, you know, decide how you want to format this song? What inspires the specific kind of style of vernacular that you think is going to bring it to the song?
It really depends on the song because the beat plays a big part in that. So I might hear the beat and just get in that mode. Like I might be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I might know from that instinct. I might have to listen to it 30 times before I even come up with an idea of it. But yeah, it's just an instinct thing. Like I come up with first of all, I have a big problem. One of my biggest flaws in music, which I think I wish I could change about myself, is once I hear a song and I made up my mind that's how that song should go, that's how that song always gonna go for me. It will never change. Like I can't go back and be like, no, I should do it like it's because it was my initial gut feeling on that song. So it's hard for me to retract that.
Okay. All right. I respect that. I respect that. Yeah. Because you got a lot of people trying to reinvent the wheel, taking samples from old songs and then trying to put just different lyrics on it. And it's like,
No, it's not the same.
you know, I'm not going to mention the name of the artist or the song, but, you know, I heard something like that recently. They took a sample from a 90s pop song onto a hip hop track, and the hip hop artist was, you know, doing their thing, whatever. But the problem is now I associate that track sample with somebody else's work.
Yeah.
It takes away from appreciating the individual artist that you're working for.
And then a big problem with the samples that a lot of people are starting to do is this is a TikTok era.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these upcoming kids are thinking that's an original song, not knowing that this song was probably made like 60 years ago. So it does take away from the appreciation from it. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. It's a shame, but they're going to have to learn.
Yeah.
So I noticed you haven't released any music videos just yet to collaborate your new album. So is there any music videos in the work?
Yeah, I'm actually very behind when it comes to music videos, which I've been very hard on myself about. I actually have 3 different music videos in the work, and it's one off the first one off the second one, and one off of the upcoming one. But I definitely am going to start shooting music videos more frequently. Yeah.
Excellent. And is that a similar thing like when you're, you know, in the studio? It's like you don't want to just bum rush in there. You're really trying to plan it out.
I'm really big on not rushing things. I know that in music, people have very short attention spans. Or if you're not consistently dropping, they'll feel like you fell off a little bit. But I rather just make good music and quality music. That's why I don't really worry about it. And then I know once I get the ball rolling with something, I'm gonna have it rolling. So
Okay.
just
Okay.
trust in the process.
Trust in the process. Some people say they'll eat pizza cold, but it's better hot.
Right.
It's better when it's fresh out of that oven. Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
perfect analogy.
And so, what kind of gear do you prefer, if any, when it comes to recording, or even when you're working with an engineer in the production stages?
I don't really have a preference. Um, as long as it sound good, use whatever you have to use to make it sound good. If I don't sound like I'm recording in my bathroom, um, I really because I also have my home studio that I just started building. Really, I just my MacBook. I like baby blue mics
Yeah.
because I feel like they sound the best for my voice. Other than that, I don't really have a preference. I just want to make good music.
Okay, right on. And I heard, a lot of rappers and hip hop artists in particular, they really like the baby blue mics,
Yeah, they are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't had as much experience with those ones as well. Is it more like a warm sound that you like, or is the clarity that you appreciate?
I feel like it gives you the best natural voice. Well, I guess you could say the warmth in it. I don't know, like you gotta listen to your voice on it, so like you'll get it. But it really gives your voice that pop to it. I don't know what it is about that mic, but they are really good.
All right. All right. I can dig it, man. Yeah, because I mean, for vocalists, even if they're not producers and engineers on the side, usually they do end up having a preference about their specific microphones. So I'm always curious to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, are there any upcoming plans for any kind of shows or other projects? Maybe next year, because now this year is practically almost over.
So no shows for this year. I'm really gonna try to get heavy into the shows next year. But I do have a new project called Deified that is going to come out the end of this year. I don't have a specific release date because I said I wasn't going to give no one a date because I don't want to get to that date and I don't feel like it's ready. But it will definitely be out this year.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Now, going back to how you were mentioning, you really like to take your time and make sure that you got everything presented and as you envision it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say is like, do you give yourself kind of like a schedule throughout the week, because you're accommodating your family life, other job life kind of thing? Or do you just kind of just pick up things as the instinct comes in, as inspiration comes in?
No, because if I did it like that, it might be a very long time before you hear me again. So yeah, I have a big thing of I can't go a full day without even writing something musically, or coming up with an idea or a song title or whatever it may be. I really, I really can't say. I don't. No, I don't.
You just make sure that you're an artist each and every day, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, because I don't want to say that I have a schedule because it could change day by day, but I do make sure that I get some work in every day. But as far as the process of making sure it's done and making sure everything is right, I have this thing I do where I'll listen to it on the phone out loud, with headphones on, with different headphones on, multiple. I'll listen to it on speakers. I'll listen to it in the car. I have to listen to it in every element before I release it.
That part. That part. And what are the things that you have noticed when you're doing, your ear listening test, say like you just recorded this song, you've noticed like, on your MacBook Pro, it sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you go in the car and you're like, uh-oh, kind of thing.
So in the car is usually when the song sounds the best.
Yeah.
So I always look for the bass in the car.
Mm-hmm.
The bass is one of the most important things when you in a car. Bass and making sure it still has the clarity to it. As far as playing it out loud, I try to make sure it doesn't sound too low. If you could still hear like maybe the background vocals or whatever the case may be. Now, if I'm listening to it in my headphones, I'm looking for clicks. Do I got too many breaths in here? Just the small stuff that people probably won't even notice for real unless they keep listening to that song over and over. But yeah, I try to get every little detail in there. So
All right. Excellent. Excellent, man. Now, I noticed you got on your album, you got a little bit of freestyles and you also have your structured songs on there too. So again, you said it's just an instinct based kind of thing, whatever. So, but when it comes to freestyling, it's not like it's just planned. It's just gold spilling out of your mouth kind of thing.
right.
So can you tell us a little bit about your freestyling process?
So those are beats that I just like. I haven't come up with a concept of a song. I just like the beat. So is when we get in here, just play the beat. I'm going to just rap and whatever we come up with, we come up with. I might not like the first take. I'll do it again. Let me say something else. All right, let's do it again. Or I like that. I'm going to keep that. So I got a song called Party Freestyle, which was on the latest one. And I literally got off of work and my engineer hit me and asked me, were we done wrapping up the album? I was like, yeah, but I kind of wanted to do a freestyle. So I went in, I did that literally 15 minutes. I was walking out and he just sent me everything. He got that mixed and mastered and sent it to me later on that day. And that was the end of the album.
Wow.
That's how the end of the album went.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. So sometimes if you're freestyling, you might listen to the beat before or...
Yeah.
Okay.
I always, because it's going on the album, I have to listen to the beat first. I can't just be in the studio, he play a beat, I freestyle to it, be like, all right, throw it on there. Like, I feel like, no, I can't do that. But I genuinely had liked that beat, so I was like, this ain't a song, but I could say some stuff over it, and that's how it came about.
Excellent. Now, this is a kind of a hot topic, but there's some people that like YouTube beats, and there's some people that prefer to go find beats from producers or engineers kind of things. Do you have a specific kind of preference, or again, it's just whatever beats best suits your song purpose?
Yeah, because I'm a mixture of both. I might find someone on YouTube and like their beat and reach out to them. I might be on BeatStars and reach out to someone. Or it could be a beat that one of my friends sent to me. It's just all in the field because I like when people send me beats because they've done heard my music and they know what type of songs I can make. So they just send them to me. They make it easier on me. Because when you're searching through beats, it could take hours and hours. Like there's been times where I done spent 4 or 5 hours looking for beats and didn't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very stressful because you're like, oh, I want to make music, but I can't find a beat that I like right now. So yeah, I like a mixture of them both.
Okay, excellent. Have you ever had an issue with the engineer where you brought a beat over and because sometimes on YouTube that has no fault of your own, but sometimes maybe the quality may not be perfect. Have you ever had issues where you brought it to the engineer and the engineer's like, oh, it's going to be that kind of day?
Yeah.
All right.
So the engineer I worked with recently, that actually happened on our first encounter because I bought him a beat and he was like, whoever made this beat really made it hard for me. And it took him about 20 minutes before we could start recording because I don't know what was going on with the beat, but he looked stressed. So it had to be something going on. But he figured it out.
And that's the kind of people you need to keep close to your heart, okay? Because he cared that much. He's like, no, I'm not going to let you record on this boo-boo sounding beat. We're going to get this right.
He does a good job, though.
Excellent. Is there any kind of tricks that you like? Like you said, you want your vocals to be really clear and crisp and natural as possible. Is there any kind of tricks, in the production aspect that you like the engineer to work on? Any kind of specific EQs or compressors that you like that complements your voice?
I like the studio compressor in Logic Pro X. This one just called Studio Compress because that and the clear vocals mixed together. The clear vocal compressor, I feel like it gives me it makes my voice more live. Not really. I like the reverse reverb effect. Like right before I start rapping, how it makes it kind of, how can I put it? It's like a reverse shadow, like a reverse echo.
Yes.
Yeah, so I really like that effect. Other than that, I really like to give it to people raw.
Okay.
Of course I want my vocals mixed, but I just like to be me.
Okay. All right. I can feel it, man. Yeah, because even, in the hooks, when I was listening to it, I could tell, I was like, they may have, done doubler effect to try to give it more expansion. But again, it wasn't doused in reverb and delay and a whole bunch of effects. I could still hear, your voice coming through it, even if it was more powerful than the hook kind of thing. So I appreciated that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
It was a pleasure to be here today.
Yes, incredible. And thank you for sharing all of your amazing, wonderful knowledge with us, man.
Yes, thank you for having me today.
Of course. Do you have any last little bit of advice for the listeners?
I would just, in this world, just be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Just be you at the end of the day. No matter how people don't like it or perceive it, always be you in every situation. Don't let your crowd change you. Don't let your surroundings change you. Don't let what you're going through change you. Everybody else out here trying to be somebody that they ain't, just be yourself. Because can't nobody be you like you.
That part. Okay. Be you and love you. Because you're the man. All right? Like, you smell good, but you're all right. So be proud of yourself. All right? And when can we get an idea of when those new project is going to be coming out you were talking about?
So I want to say middle to late November, early December at the latest.
All right. We're going to be looking out for it.
Please do. Yes.
Well, thank you, Big Tweak, for joining us again today.
Thank you.
And thank you for your lovely brothers for coming here and supporting and showing love too. Okay, y'all take lessons. Okay, this is how you show love and you don't have to spend money.
Right.
Okay, it's a thing. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on IG Live and for joining us on audio streaming only. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.